जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी कुंज जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरदारी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरदारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी गोपी जरा वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jai Radhe Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan Jai Radhe Krishna Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Jagannath Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Shripada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shata Shishmati Divine Grace Abhaya Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya BBT Founder Acharya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Hardas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Rajbhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Mathura Dham Ki Dwarakapuri Dham Ki Purushottama Kshetra Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navdvip Dham Ki Gangamai Yamunamai Ki Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuhu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratpishe Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishthiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. We welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. We are reciting from the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 27th chapter, text number 9. Putranam cha bhavan putra ekaikasya shatam shatam yairvai pauranjano vamshaha panchaleshu samedhitaha. Putranam cha bhavan putra ekaikasya shatam shatam yairvai pauranjano vamshaha panchaleshu samedhitaha. Putranam cha bhavan putra ekaikasya shatam shatam yairvai pauranjano vamshaha panchaleshu samedhitaha. Ekaikasya shatam shatam yairvai pauranjano vamshaha panchaleshu samedhitaha. Putranam cha bhavan putra ekaikasya shatam shatam yairvai pauranjano vamshaha panchaleshu samedhitaha. Matajis. Putranam cha bhavan putra ekaikasya shatam shatam yairvai pauranjano vamshaha panchaleshu sameditaha. Putranam of the sons cha also abhavan were produced. Putraha sons ekasya of each one shatam 100 shatam 100 yaihi by whom why certainly pauranjanaha of King Puranjana vamshaha family panchaleshu in the land of Panchala samedhitaha greatly increased. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Of these many sons, each produced hundreds and hundreds of grandsons. In this way, the whole city of Panchala became overcrowded by these sons and grandsons of King Puranjana. Purport. We must remember, Puranjana is the living entity and the city of Panchala is the body. So many of you have been attending this classes, series of shlokas from this 4th canto. For those of you who might not have attended the previous sessions, to give you the context here, Narada is coming to approach Prachina Parishad king, who was king of the whole world. And he comes from a very great lineage of Dhruva Maharaj. And although Puranjana is called as Manaha, very great personality, religious person, pious person, and is performing Vedic sacrifices, The intention of performing the sacrifice is to accumulate punya, by which one can ascend to heaven. Many people do not know the difference between going to heaven and going to spiritual world. See, heaven and hell are within this universe itself, whereas spiritual world is far beyond the material existence. The whole material world is within Mahatattva, but beyond that there is something called Paravyoma. Paravyoma is actually the spiritual light in which spiritual planets called as Vaikunthas are floating. And what is the difference between Vaikuntha planets and the material planets? In the Vaikuntha planets, there is no birth, old age, disease, death. Whereas in material planets, everybody is born, everybody gets old, they get disease, they die. In the spiritual planets, we all live in our spiritual bodies. Whereas when we come into this material world, we are awarded a material body, which consists of body and mind. So mind is for storing our desires and body is for executing our desires. So we are given these two equipments with the soul. So taking this body and mind, we are wandering in this world to enjoy, and we suffer in varieties of ways. But in spiritual planets, there is no suffering. It is a blissful abode of all living entities who are completely pure, who are living in the association of the Lord. And that is spiritual world. So all the Shastras say that Vishnum Paramam Padam. Every jiva has to attain that Vaikuntha planets where one can live joyfully and there is no fear of death or old age or disease and there is no company to go, money to earn, any fear of accidents or disease or anything like that. So in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita called Purushottam Yoga, I would suggest you to read that because that gives you information about the spiritual planets. Very beautifully Lord Krishna explains. So now coming to the material world, when the jiva falls from a plane to a material plane, in this material world, the jiva is called as Puram Jan. Puram means the body, Jan means the resident of the body, which is the jiva. Just like there is a house and resident of the house. So Puranjan is the jiva who is residing in this bodily house. So about that Puranjan, Narada Muni spoke to King Prachina Parishad. Now, Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Shri Gaurnita ki, Shri Jagannath Prasudra ki. Narada Muni was thinking that King Prachina Parishad is attached to making punya through the yajnik sacrifices so that he can go to heaven. But the problem is what? Just like in a company, if you are doing a job, the company sometimes gives you leave travel allowance, LTA they call it. They give you some money, they give you some holidays. Go to hill station along with your wife and children, family, enjoy for a week. When your punya is over, you come back. In the same manner, punya is also like that. When you do some virtuous activities in this world like sacrifices, go to heaven, punya is over, you come back again to earth. Whereas going to spiritual world means never to come back. If a rocket is taking off from the earth, after certain time the fuel gets over, it comes back. So it takes a U-turn. When I was a school boy, there was something called a sky lab. So the sky lab went up but ran out of fuel. So now the sky lab is going to fall on the earth. All of you be careful. How to be careful? On whose head it will fall, nobody knows. So they said it is on the way back. So they gave school, all the holiday to schools, where it will fall. So scientists with great difficulty dip it into an ocean. Similarly, the jiva goes up, after punya is over, he comes down. On the other hand, if a rocket goes at 11 kilometers per second speed, it's called escape velocity. Like that it will go. That's all. It will never come out. It will never fall back. Similarly, if you do spiritual activities, then you can get the escape velocity to go against the pull of Maya. Maya is the Gurutvakarshana or the gravitational pull downward. So Maya is pulling everybody down and Krishna consciousness you up. The more you are Krishna conscious, you go back to Godhead, never come back again. But if you are weak in Krishna consciousness, we do some little punya, then you come back again. Huh? So Prachina Varshat was not spiritually advanced. He was more pious king who was doing punya to become famous in this world, to go to heavenly planets, to live long duration of life and things like that. So at that time, Narada Muni came to his palace and thought, hey, his sons are pure devotees, prachetas, who gone to the forest. So let me give some sermon to this fellow king, because he's coming in the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj. I would like to see him become a devotee also. That was Narada Muni's desire. But the problem is, being the king, he is certainly a very busy person and not easily approachable by anybody. Even many rich people, you go to their house, they will welcome you. Oh, Swamiji, please come, please take a seat. They may give you a garland and they may give you some donation and say, I'm just rushing to my, thank you for coming to our house. You have made our house holy by coming. Now you can push up. They say like that. They are super busy. So that their money, they are making money, expanding business. And until the last day of their life comes in this body and death is about to approach them, that is the time they think about God. They get tense. Or they may occasionally go to temple to pray for some, business success or something. But people generally become super busy in this world. So Narada Muni make this busy person sit down and make him understand. Keeping in this mind, Narada Muni said, I'm not coming here to speak big philosophy to you. I'm just going to tell you an interesting story. So then the king became interested. Oh, I would like to hear some nice story. So then he told the story of Puranjan. So here he is telling about Prachina Parishad. In the beginning doesn't know that the story is for his reformation. He doesn't know that. He is hearing about a king called Puranjan. I know. Here it is mentioned here, you see. Puranjan, after marrying the queen, he produced hundreds and hundreds of grandsons in the city called Panchala. And it became overcrowded by the sons and grandsons, it says. So he was hearing the story, but what is the meaning of this? Prabhupada will explain here. Prabhupada says this Puram Jan is none other than the jiva situated in the body, the material body. And he is saying here, the body is the field of activity for the living entity. Bhagavad Gita, Kshetra, Kshetrajna, two words are used. There are two constituents. One is the living entity, Kshetrajna, and the other is the body of the living entity, Kshetra. This is in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram yitya vidhiyate evam yo vetti tam prahuhu kshetrajnam iti tadvidaha. My dear Arjun, this body is called as Kshetra, field. And seated in this body is the jiva whose name is Kshetra Jnana. Jnana means knower. Kshetra, knower of this field. Just like a farmer is knower of his land. Just like you are residing in a house, your own house. So you are knower of your house. Or you drive your own car. You are knower of the car. You know which side of the car has a dent or what is the problem in the car. You have some idea. In the same manner, Lord Krishna says, every jiva is situated in his own material body, in which he is seated in the body, and he is saying yantra rudhani mayaya. He moves around this world seated in the material bodily machine. It's called as yantra. The body is a yantra, machine. And we are kshetrajna, and we are residing in the kshetra. Why this concept is very important? You see, a small kid sometimes is given by the mother some toys to play, and she puts the child in a sandbox. You've seen a sandbox means, sometimes they mark a portion, they give a little small, like a parapet wall type of thing, and inside it there's a lot of, and there are some games to play there. You can come in a seesaw, or you can come in a slide, or some horse or something to play. Sometimes the children get into that sandbox thing, play area, and then they keep playing, play area. Get absorbed in that. Similarly, every living entity is put in a kshetra. Kshetra is not just the body alone. It's a body along with the context in which you are born with that body. Say, for example, a barber. His kshetra is the saloon shop. Huh? You know, he knows all about the hairs of people, scissors, knife. Huh? He knows about the lotions. Huh? He has a lot of mirrors all around. His whole life goes around the head only of the people. Huh? One head comes and goes, next head comes. As soon as he sees anybody on the road, he look at the head. He has more hair, he has less hair. This fellow is shaven headed. Huh? He has beard. So his whole business is all around the hair only. Similarly, think of a mochi, yeah, cobbler. His whole life is centered around the chappal and shoes, correct now? Repairing them. He's seated in a place that every living entity gets caught in a certain field. It's not only about these people. Look at IT engineer. His whole life goes in the computer. Huh? Morning to evening, 12 hours, 14 hours. Huh? So one fellow was chanting the japa. He was feeling little drowsy. And while chanting with the drowsy chanting, he started keeping like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And he opened and saw no computer is around. Because he is used to sitting in front of a computer always. Even chanting is doing like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna. So one can become addicted to the things surrounding the body because of repeated absorption in them. And in that field, we are all doing activity and we get sukha dukkha. Like a child may sometimes play coming in the slide and he is laughing. Sometimes the child may sit in the seesaw on the other side, no one is around. But like that, the seesaw goes down and then he gets a pain in the back and he cries. So he gets pain. Sukh, dukh, man, apaman. Similarly, all of us are living entities seated in the bodily machine, born in certain situations, in different situations. Everybody has a rigid set of rules in which we are put in this world. Like I told you about a man in the saloon or a cobbler or engineer. Similarly, a girl gets married and goes to her in-laws place and she has a rigid set of rules. There is mother-in-law, there is father-in-law, there is husband and her sister-in-law, brother-in-law. She has to live in that situation where she will get sukh dukh both, happiness and distress. So living entities are put according to their karmic reactions about which it's going to come now, very soon. Any living entity can know that he is covered by body if he only contemplates the body a little bit. Just with a little contemplation, he can come to understand that the body is his possession. We are not the body. We are seated in this bodily machine. How do you know that? For example, in this world there are two things, Jada and Chetan. Like this table is Jada and I am Chetan. I am keeping this table here. If I push the table to that place, it will go there. On its own, it cannot move. Jada cannot move on its own unless stimuli is given by Chetan, a conscious soul. And that's the main difference. You will see that consciousness, and we have thinking, feeling, willing ability, and the Jada does not have that. So we have to think a little bit, Prabhupada says. Like take a cross-section of any human body. When you do postmortem of somebody's body, dead body, what do you find inside that? You find flesh, bones, muscles, mucus, urine, stool, all these substances. These are all obnoxious substances, all packaged together very nicely with the skin. And those substances don't have any consciousness. Like, a living body releases chemicals. Like, for example, urine is urea. Stool is hydrogen phosphate. Similarly, there is sweat coming from the body. They're all coming from a living body. But those chemicals cannot be conscious, nor can they produce anything. Like Prabhupada gives example, lemon produces citric acid, tons of citric acid. But citric acid cannot produce lemon tree. Life always comes from life. So try to think about it. And Prabhupada says it's very easy to know. You are resident of this body. And when you leave the body is termed dead. As long as soul is present in the body is called living. So this is a very fundamental first thing Lord Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita. So even this body grows from childhood to boyhood to youth to old age. This growth happens because soul is present. If the soul leaves the body, there is no growth. So you can understand the difference between Kshetrajna and Kshetra, he says. And then he says, in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Dehinosmin yata dehe, the proprietor of the body, the soul is within the body. The body is taken as the Panchala Desh, or the field of activities, wherein the living entity can enjoy the senses in their relationship to the five sense objects, namely Gandha, Rasa, Rupa, Sparsha, and Shabda. That's why Panchala means five. It's a place for enjoying the five senses. Eyes, nose, tongue, ears, and skin. Uh, and that is sense objects made out of earth, water, fire, air, and sky. Within this material world, covered by the material body of subtle and gross matter, every living entity creates actions and reactions, which are herein known empirically as suns and grandsons. These are two kinds of actions and reactions, namely pious and impious. Now comes the point. Prabhupada explains, Puranjanas, who are the sons and grandsons of Puranjan? The actions and reactions. You see, in this world, we all do some activity with our body, mind, and words, and they have their fruits. One time, Dhritarashtra met Lord Krishna after the war was over. All the 100 sons were dead. He was weeping. Hari and Dhritarashtra, they called for Krishna. Krishna went to meet them. So Dhritarashtra bowed down, weeping. And with folded palms, he asked Krishna, my dear Lord Krishna, I am the most unfortunate person in this world. He said, look at me. I was born blind. What bad did I do in my life? My birth only was made in such a way that I was born blind. Not only that, I had 100 sons, but I could not even look at their faces. I don't even know how they look like. So in this way, I suffered in my life with my blindness. But now all my 100 sons are dead in the battle, and I am bereft of even one of them. So I am an innocent person, and I am being forced to suffer in this life like this. Why is this cruelty put upon me? For what reason? He asked. So Lord Krishna told him, you see, there are three types of karma, he told him. There is a kriyamana karma, sanchit karma, and prarabdha karma. Kriyamana karma means every minute, every hour, every day, we all are doing some activity through our senses, or through our speech, and through our mind also. Body, mind, words, as we say. And they all are producing reactions. So every action we do is like sowing a seed. If you sow a seed, naturally plant is going to come and produce the fruits. So he said, but the Kriyamana karma sometimes gives results immediately. Sometimes it may take a little while. Even in this world we have seen. Like for example, if you are eating some heavy item at night, next day morning you have problem in the belly. The problem is a little later. Or if somebody, like say a student is not studying well, at the end of the year he suffers in the examination. Correct, no? Similarly, if a youngster did not save money, after post-retirement time, he will have to continue working, he struggles. So which comes after 30, 40, 50 years. Or if you took a loan from somebody and then you didn't pay back, after some years they're going to chase after you. They'll come and ask you, where is my money? So in this world, you'll see the karmic reactions come at different durations of time. And Lord Krishna told him that some of the karmic reactions go to the next life. He said, that's called Sanchit karma. Sanchit means the results don't come immediately, they get accumulated in your account. That's called Sanchit. So, and then when this Sanchit karma accumulates, why it has to accumulate, I'll tell you soon. And when the results are going to just appear, it's called karma. Like some of you have experienced, you got ulcer in the mouth, or you got a fracture in the leg, or somebody scolded you strongly and you got depressed. You can see that sufferings come in varieties of ways in the body and mind. That means prarabdha karma has manifested. Somebody gets cancer, they are undergoing some treatment. So you can see that means the prarabdha karma has come now, like that. So he told about this kriyamana karma, sanchit karma, prarabdha karma, everything. And then he told Dhritarashtra, 50 lifetimes ago, when you went to forest for hunting playfully, you just wanted to have some fun of hunting. So there was a short tree in which there were 100 birds who had made a big nest and they were all happily living there. So you took a fiery net, which was a net which was on fire. You threw it all over the tree. And those birds were screaming and they perished uh, and they were burnt to ashes practically. And there were other birds other than these who were also living in the tree. They tried to escape from the tree and they could escape. But because of the fire, they all became blinded. So in this way, you caused blindness to some birds and you took away the life of some birds. Therefore, you lost your 100 sons and you also became blind. And Dhritarashtra said, what are you talking? 50 lifetimes ago, I did something and result is coming now. Why was the result not given instantly? Why was it kept pending for so long? Then Krishna said, see, in that lifetime, you had a desire to have Putra Bhagya. You wanted 100 sons. But for that, you didn't have sufficient punya. So these 50 lifetimes it took for you to create that punya. Now that punya had accrued to a point where, like in bank also, they say the account has matured. They say, no, if you put in insurance, it matures and then they give you the yield of the money. Correct, no? Similarly, your punya has matured now. Therefore, you got 100 sons. But at the same time, there is a papa account you had committed for which the 100 birds you killed, your 100 sons have to die. You blinded some birds, so you have to get the blindness now. See, this is how the action and reaction works in this world. Huh? So the pious and so he did some pious activities for which he got 100 sons. He did some impious activity for which he lost his 100 sons. So this plus minus account keeps on going in this world. You bring some money, like for example, when a boy and girl get married, when the parents bring them together, the parents also give some support. Okay, you have this facility, you have a car, or you have some money and everything. And they begin the family. So husband is working, wife is a homemaker, and you will find that the tendency is to lavishly spend. And then what happens? Suddenly they realize that, we go to the, we go for shopping and they bring so many useless commodities and the expenditure keeps on shooting up. They become greedy to accumulate more and more. Then the wife says, I think I also have to go for a job now. Then we can make more money and we can get more facility. We can have a bigger house, we can have a bigger car and everything. Then both of them struggled and the children come. They have to put children under some servant maid. You will see they complicate the life. You can see that. So for every action they do, they keep getting multiple reactions. The jiva enjoys and he suffers. Enjoy, suffers. When they get a bigger house, they enjoy. But then maintenance increases, cost increases, then they suffer. You get a bigger car, you enjoy. But you can't fight the traffic because traffic is very heavy. If you had a scooter, you would have gone easily. So you have a bigger car, only the fun of having bigger car, you can't travel easily. So in this, the pious impious, whatever we do, activities in this world, Dhritarashtra did in similar manner. We all accumulate happiness and suffering in this world. In this way, our material existence becomes coated by different actions and reactions. In this regard, Shri Narottam Thakur states, Karma Kanda Jnana Kanda Kevala Vishera Bhanda Amrita Baliya he's saying Amrita Baliya Eva Khai Nana Yoni Sada Fire Kadar Yeva Kshana Kare Tara Janmada Pateya. He's telling Narottam Thakur, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. See, Karma Kanda means working very hard to do yajna, dana, tapa, and all these things. Now, why would a man do dan, charity? See, if you sow one mango seed, you get 1,000 mangoes from the tree. Similarly, if you do one punya activity, kings like kings like Prachina Parishad knew that if I give some charity to a Brahman, 1 rupee also you give. Next life, you will get 1,000 rupees. It will come back 1,000 times more. Prabhupada explains that. Therefore, in the Vedic times, if people wanted to invest money, they won't put it in the bank. Instead, they'll give charity to Brahman. Because it will come 1,000 times more. That's the best way of saving, Prabhupada says. So, on the other hand, if you gave the money to a Vaishnava, it will be 10,000 times it will come back to you, Prabhupada says. And also, if you give it to a bogus Brahman, and received it from you, still you don't lose anything. That money will come back to you, whatever you gave, without any multiplication. Just like in phoning, sometimes you put a coin in the top, and if you could not phone, the coin will come from the bottom. It will go and come back. So you gave to a wrong person, so it comes back to you. The Brahman is not qualified. If he's qualified, 1,000 times. The Vaishnava, even 10,000 times one will get. So therefore, this king thought that I will do karma kanda and then I'll get a lot of punya by yajna, dana, tapa, and all those things. So the fruitive activity in this world means I do some activity with some aspiration of fruits. So I start a business to make a lot of money. I do a degree to increase my name and fame and reputation. Everybody in this world is doing something for what? For getting something in return. If that what you want in return is not Krishna, other than Krishna, you want anything else, that causes suffering. Karma kanda means no, I want to go to heaven. I want to have long duration of life. I want to enjoy with beautiful apsaras. I want to relax. I want to have a healthy body. I want to drink somaras. I want to eat delicious foods. So these kind of aspirations, a pious person generally have. So for us in this world, what do pious people think? If you see people go to Tirupati, many people do business with Balaji also. Balaji, you say patram pushpam phalam toyam. I'll give you some fruit or flower or little water, and you give me elephants and horses and camels. Prabhupada says, you want to give something small and you want something big, very big and great from the Lord. They think, go to temple and they find out which deities are powerful deities so that they can get nice things back from them. That is karma kanda. And jnana kanda means always speculating and planning how I can increase my happiness and enjoyment by my own efforts. That is jnana kanda. How I can escape from suffering and increase my enjoyment. He's saying kevala vishara banda, both are simply cups of poison. He's saying, why? Amrita bali kai nana yoni sada fire kadarya bhakshana kare. He's saying, tara janma ada pateya. He's saying, thinking that the sense gratification is nectar and the jiva wanders multiple bodies. Eating all nasty things, he's saying. See, eating doesn't mean only this eating. Eating with eyes, eating with ears, eating with nose, eating with mouth, eating with skin also. All five are called as eating. Why? Because it is input we give to the five senses. That's called eating. So, in this world, you will see the wandering jiva uses his five senses, always thinking how I can enjoy. How I can enjoy, how I can enjoy. It's called as bhoga. It's called bhoga icha. Prabhupada says in one purport. So, fruitive activities and mental speculation are simply cups of poison. Whoever drinks of them, thinking them to be nectar, must struggle very hard life after life. That struggle is called as pavarga. Pa, fa, ba, bha, ma. Five things Prabhupada explains. Parishram means everybody has to work very hard in this world if you want enjoyment. Prabhupada says even a lion in the jungle will be relaxing. He has to get up and run behind a deer to catch it. So, in this way, there is a lot of hard work in this world. Like the thieves in a jail have to break the stones. Like sometimes 6 hours, 8 hours, they have to break the stones. It's very painful. 1 day, 2 days you can do. You have to do for months together like that. Similarly, the jiva here also, see, it's a rainy day. You don't feel like going to office. Still, you have to go. The children don't like to go to school and study big books and appear in exams, but they have to do it. The lady is lazy to go into the kitchen and take a bath and go into the kitchen and cook on a hot sunny day. But she has to do that. She can't escape. Everybody in this world thinks, when will the time come I can relax? A man thinks, I will earn a lot of money, put in the bank, I can relax in an easy chair. A man thinks like that. A woman thinks, let my husband bring a lot of money, so I can employ one maid servant for cooking and one for washing clothes and one for cleaning the house, and I can relax in an easy chair. Everybody is thinking of relax, but the relaxing time never comes in this world. But real relaxation is when one goes back to Godhead. This world, he says that you want to relax and enjoy the world. That's not possible. When you're serving the Lord, that's a real relaxation. So therefore, he is saying that everybody is struggling hard life after life in different types of bodies. Such a person eats all kinds of nonsense, he says, because people, for the taste buds, they are killing unnecessarily animals and birds. It's in a. I was just recently checking, and I came to know that like 95% of the population of the world is into meat eating, except a very small percentage. Everybody is into meat eating. It's such a horrible thing. So many poor innocent creatures are being killed just because somebody wants to enjoy the taste buds. So, and then one has to accordingly get the pig's body and such creatures. Therefore, Krishna uses two words: Sat, Asad, Yoni, Janmasu. What is that verse? Purusha Prakritis hi bhunkte Prakritijan Gunan Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasad Yoni Janmasu. Purusha Prakritis hi, the living entity, imagining himself to be the Purusha, is trying to enjoy. Prakritistha means situated in this bodily machine. Prakritis, Purusha Prakritis hi bhunkte, he tries to enjoy. Prakritijan Gunan, those which are born of three gunas. See, all the products of three gunas are pain producing. All the products coming from Krishna's lotus feet, gifted to the devotees, are all bliss producing. For example, read the Bhagavad Gita, take bath in the Ganga, worship the deity form of the Lord, sing the holy name, take prasadam, live in the company of devotees, visit the holy places. All these are bliss producing. On the other hand, those which are used by three gunas, like Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Satoguna, those are all pain producing. Like for example, Rajoguna, what are produced by Rajoguna? Like drinking, smoking, illicit sex, and meat, and all these things are produced of Rajoguna. Similarly, in Tamoguna, Tamoguna are the things by consuming which you go to Tamoguna. That's the meaning of that. Tamasic things. So look at the beer bar, for example. It's dim light they put that becomes active at night time. People drink, people smoke, people take drugs, and they go in mode of ignorance, depression, and sleeping for days together. So, in this way, he is saying that the living being in this world becomes stooped in ignorance and passion by consuming the products of ignorance and passion, and which are all pain producing. Thus, the field of action and reactions by which one's descendants are increased begins with sex life. Puranjan increased his whole family by begetting sons, who in their turn begot grandsons. Thus, the living entity, being inclined towards sexual gratification, becomes involved in many hundreds and thousands of action reactions. You see, we all come with some 4-5 desires, but then by the time you fulfill them, they become 40-50 desires. It's like that. And then by the time you fulfill them, then they also further multiply. Like I know one family, they were saying that, you know, it will be nice if we can move from town to a city because there's a better earning in city. So they came to city, they started earning better, and they sent their son abroad. Then they said it will be better if we can earn some money and come back. Then we can practice, spiritual life more nicely. Then they went abroad, and then after going abroad, when you earn money, when you have a big house, in a big car, you have very smooth roads, tall towers, and a very nice sense gratification. One gets addicted to that, and one doesn't want to come back. Not only that, the goal of going abroad was to make some money, come back, so you can practice spiritual life well. But then many times people forget the goal for which they went. They get stuck up. They get stuck up in money making, multiplying money and things like that. You came for one thing, but you get stuck in something else. That's what happens here. And the desires multiply. You will see that our mind, how it works. For example, you wanted a cycle, you were telling, Papa, if you give me just one cycle for whole life, I'll be happy. By the time you get the cycle, now you want a scooter. By the time you get a scooter, you want a car. So our desires keep increasing, multiplying more and more. You come with one and then you want many. You can look at your own mind. You go to a shop, for example, you went to purchase 1 or 2 things and you end up purchasing 5 or 10 things. How? Because after seeing the things which are displayed in the shop, you develop new desires. Maybe it will be nice to have this also. Maybe some people's hand is very, very loose. Money goes very easily out of the hand. Yeah, it's just like water you put in a tokri. In a basket you put water. It just so therefore sometimes even families, even husband, wife. If husband is very lavish in spending, the wife has to hide money and protect and save it. even from the husband also. Otherwise, whatever money comes, he will finish it off. So that is how our action and reactions increase. In this material world, we actually, the only goal of life is to go back to Godhead. But forgetting that goal, we become stuck up in increasing our enjoyment program in this world. We get stuck in get this, get that. Actually, there is one verse in the Bhagavatam which says, two verses, one after another it comes in the Bhagavatam. I'll tell you that. Satyam kshitau kim kashipo prayase bahau swasiddhe upavarhanai kim satyanjalau kim purudana patriya digval kaladau satikam dukulai. You know what he's saying? Shaunaka Rishis are saying this. They are saying, Satyam kshitau kim kashipo prayase. What is the need of a soft bed? The God has given us the dharti, the bhumi. You can just lie down on the floor. And then he's saying, Bahau sasiddhe upabarhanaikyam. God has given this hand. You just keep it like this and lie down. You don't need a pillow. He's saying. And he's saying, you can combine the Satyanjalau kim purudana patriya. Why do you work hard to get some burthens, vessels? You just combine your two hands, you get a patra. Somebody can give you bhiksha. That's all you need, he says. Digval kalado satikim dukulai means there are already God has created directions. That itself is a dress. Then why do you need to purchase a dress, he's saying. Which means he says, be a digambar. He's saying. Or if you are too shy to be a digambar, he says, Valkala, the trees are giving bark. So you can have a tree bark dress and wear it. That's coming in nature. It's not costly. Ram, Lakshman, Sita, when they went to forest, they wore a tree bark dress. Just like wear khadi dress, similarly tree bark dress. So in that purport, Prabhupada is writing, it's not that he is telling you to revert to animal life by, giving up everything in the world and just sleeping with the hand. And the whole idea is simplicity. Simplify, simplify, simplify. We often say this, maximize Krishna time, minimize Maya time. How do you do that? Minimizing Maya time is possible by minimizing material comforts. Because lesser the material comforts, lesser you have to work hard in this world. And more the material comforts you want to pamper your body and mind and senses, the more you have to work very hard in this world. Therefore, he is telling in this verse, simplify your life. And the next verse he says, Chirani kim patina santi dishanti viksham naivangripa parabrita saratopashushyan ruddha guha kimajito vadino pasannan kasmat bhajanti kavayo dhanadhurmadandan. He's telling, why should one in this world struggle hard for clothes? There are so many clothes lying here and there. He's saying sometimes in a graveyard, they cover the body with a cloth. No, they call kafan, they call it, isn't it? After the body is burnt, they throw away the clothes. So our Gaura Kishore Babaji would pick up those clothes. Sometimes he would take a kapala, would use as a bhiksha patra. Such kind of vairagya is very rare to see. Similarly, he's telling that, clothes are available here and there, used clothes, you can always take it, he's saying. And there are gufas are available which are warm in winter and cool in summer. One can live in the cave. And then the trees are dropping fruits and vegetables. They are very easily giving. And there are also rivers, God, where you get drinking water. So he is saying, when everything is already arranged by God, Kasmat bhajanti kavayo dhanadurmadandan. Why should living being go to, especially for sadhus, why should a sadhu go to the very rich people with folded, beg them for some money? Why should he flatter them? Instead of that, you glorify the Lord and go back to God, he's telling. So this verse is a very strong verse also. The whole idea is simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. Keep your material life simple, and so that you get more time for Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said, devotees, those who want to practice seriously, grihasthas should go to the farm and stay in the farm. Morning they can hear Bhagavatam, afternoon Mahabharata, evening, Ramayana, and night Bhagavad Gita. So 1 hour, 4 hours you can read. And rest of the time you can produce vegetables, fruits, and you can also have cows, you milk the cow, and keep your house very simple. You can have a hand-driven, what do you call that? Hand-driven pump. So you don't need electricity also. Huh? If electricity is not there, people go to sleep early. I heard in Hungary farm of His Holiness Shivaram Swami, that entire huge farm community, nowhere there is electricity except the temple. Can you say why? Because if light is there in the temple, people come to temple more easily. Mm. Other places are going to be dark after 6 o'clock. There's no electricity. Correct? Na? That means temple has light. Everybody comes and stays more in the temple and then they go back to their places to sleep at night like that. So in this way, Prabhupada told the Grihastha should go to the farm. And Brahmacharis, he said, you should stay in city. Why? Go to the schools, go to the colleges, go to companies and preach. Because Brahmachari's requirement is very simple. So they can live in city. And Grihastha's requirement is a little more. You go to the farm. So farm you get more time for Krishna. And Brahmacharis anyway have all day time for studying and preaching. But generally what happens, the Grihasthas want to be in city, Brahmacharis want to go to farm. Brahmacharis want to go to farm and relax, want to be in city and go for a bigger house, bigger car and struggle in city. That is the tendency is there, like that. That's why he's saying here, the living entity being inclined towards sexual gratification becomes involved in many hundreds and thousands of actions and reactions. In this way, he remains within the material world for the purpose of sense gratification and transmigrates from one body to another. His process of reproducing so many sons and grandsons results in so-called societies, nations, communities, and so on. This is called as expansion program through sex life, which is explained here. All these communities, societies, see, sex life is not only, it not only means man, woman uniting and begetting child. That's not only sex. Like if you see a big skyscraper building, that is also expression of sex. If you see that. If you see a huge industrial enterprise or a big shopping mall, that is also expression of sex. How? Because sex basically means bhogabrati, enjoying mentality. So that enjoying mentality comes out in varieties of passionate activities. So, for example, in sports also, sometimes people do very adventurous activities to show to their girlfriend, just see what a big thing I can do. This eagle, if a male eagle wants a female eagle, so what they do, they both are flying in the sky. The female eagle would pick up one stick, small stick, and drop it in the air. The male eagle has to, like that, it has to come and catch it and take it and go and give it to the female eagle. After that, female eagle will go somewhere else and then drop it there. And this fellow has to be very attentive, which side she is going. And he has to go there. 3 times, the male eagle has to successfully catch it, the stick falling to the ground, and give it to the female eagle. Only female eagle will agree to marry him. Because he has to prove to the female counterpart. Even they have a policy. Just like Kshatriya, if he wants to marry, he has to subdue a bull or something, correct, no? And only they can marry. So in this world, man's hard work is for satisfying the female. You will see that. My spiritual master once said that he was sitting Gita Nagari farm. On the top of the tree, there were this juguno, what do you call that? Glowworms. They were all glowing in the night. It was a dark night, but they were glowing. So Ekaveer Prabhu, disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Swami, was their senior disciple. So Maharaj called him and said, hey, how beautiful are these glowworms, you see. And he told one interesting thing to Maharaj. He said, Maharaj, these glowworms which are making sound, as much as they produce a sound, they produce that much light. Some glowworms are making long sound. Others are making even more. Like that. That much time they can produce the light. So he said, Maharaj, why are they producing sound and making this light? To show to the female glowworms. That you'll understand if you study about the glowworms. So, phenomenon is seen in every body. You will see the elephant, for example, tears down a branch of a tree and then looks around. Is there anyone watching? And there is one female elephant standing there and saying, great, you did a great job. Now the male elephant, what he will do, he will put his trunk around his trunk around the tree trunk. And with great effort, at last, like that, he would pull out the tree. And the whole tree will be uprooted, it will fall to the ground. And the female elephant will be stunned. She will say, wow, I never knew you are so strong. Huh? She'll give applause. And that's what who wants? The male elephant wants that. Huh? The same principle is in human life also. A man wants to impress his wife or girlfriend that look at my car, look at my bungalow, look at my business, look at my bank balance, see me, see my greatness. And that's what impresses the women. Oh, this fellow is capable of fulfilling all my demands. I want a big car, big bungalow, nice food, nice costly dress. And I can be by his side and I can show off to the world that I am queen of a great. Huh? Correct? No? That's what females think. And what is male thinking? By providing all these things to her, I want sex life from her. I want an embrace, I want a kiss, I want sex life. That is therefore Prabhupada is saying sex life and material opulences are strongly connected. Huh? भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया अपहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर samadhau na vidiyate. So Lord Krishna is telling that bhoga means sex life. Aishwarya means big opulence, like tall building, big shopping mall, big car, big bank balance, great popularity in the society, great influence, aristocratic relatives. This is called as Aishwarya. So, Bhoga represents women, womanly attraction, and Aishwarya represents man's opulences. These two are great stumbling blocks for both men and women. Because the Vyavasaya Buddhi, which is one pointed focus in Krishna's lotus feet, is taken away. You get diverted. And what is the problem with diversion? I'll tell you. Say, I'm going in a car. I'm asking, hey, should I take right or left? One person in the car says, take right. Another person says, take left. So sometimes I go like this, go like that. The backside car will come and hit me. There'll be an accident. Correct, no? Similarly, you see, because we have clarity of goal in our life, that I have to go back to Godhead, we get clouded in our clarity. We get confused about our destination. And due to which what happens to us? We go this side, that side, and we get accident with multiple living entities in this world. And we get stuck in this world. Mhm. So, and not only that, we become covered over also. By these two attractions, Bhoga and Aishwarya, become completely covered over. Imagine like in a car, if there is a fog, you can't see the road properly. Spiritual clarity doesn't come. So if you really want spiritual clarity and confidence and courage to go back to Godhead without any distractions, one should work on getting Vyavasaya Buddhi. But Vyavasaya Buddhi actually means Vyavasaya means business. Business minded means, you are alert about the ultimate business of life, which is to please Krishna and Guru and go back to Godhead. Otherwise, this kind of attraction to sex life and opulences. See, for a man, his becoming a slave of his wife is a great stumbling block. And for a woman, becoming addicted to the opulences provided by the husband and simply enjoying material life, that is a big stumbling block. So both of them wife has to be simple and not be greedy, not be envious. She should be devotional minded. She should also lead a life of simplicity, and she should have dharmic, religious, and at the same time, husband also uh, should not focus on accumulating material opulences alone. He should actually focus on Krishna consciousness, and whatever is destined in his fate will come to him automatically without too much hard work struggle. And what is that balance? Prabhupada says 8 hours one can do material work. Prabhupada says, if you want to know, 7th canto, 12th chapter, you will get this. 6th or 7th verse, you will get that. Prabhupada says one should work for 8 hours. Whatever comes in that is what is destined for you. If you work more than that, then you are simply accumulating karma, he says that. So that's a very strong purport in the 7th canto, you will see that. So in this way, community, society, dynasties, nations simply expand from sex life. As stated by Prahlad, Yanmaitunad Grihame Sukham Hitucham, Grihmedi is one who wants to remain within this material existence. This means that he wants to remain within this body or society or enjoy friendship, love and community. His only enjoyment is in increasing the number of sex enjoyers. He enjoys sex and produces children, who is in turn marry and produce grandchildren. The grandchildren also marry in their turn to produce great-grandchildren. In this way, the entire earth becomes overpopulated. And then suddenly there are reactions provoked by nature in the form of war, famine, pestilence, earthquakes, etc. Thus the entire population is again extinguished simply to be recreated. This process is explained in Bhagavad Gita as repeated creation, annihilation, bhutva, bhutva, praliyate. Due to lack of Krishna consciousness, all this creation and annihilation is going on under the name of human civilization. This cycle continues due to man's lack of knowledge of the soul and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One last point. See, there is a material expansion, there is spiritual expansion. Our Srila Prabhupada did spiritual expansion. He had only 5 sons. When he went to America, Prabhupada said, now I have 5,000 sons and daughters, he said. My 5 sons are not so inclined to spiritual life. They may be pious. But when I came to America, now I have 5,000 sons and daughters who are so obedient and expanding my movement, distributing books, and also helping me in building Krishna temples and also preaching. And they are multiplying the number of devotees in this world. And this is spiritual expansion. So there are 2 words in Sanskrit, Shaukra, Srautra. Shaukra means you expand population through Shukra, which is semen. So that is sexual expansion, material expansion. And spiritual expansion is Srautra, Shrotra. You hear the Guru Parampara, wisdom which is coming in Guru Parampara, assimilate it, contemplate on it, become about it, practice it, get realization. And when Lord is pleased with you and Guru is pleased with you, then we preach and bring more and more people into the fold of Krishna consciousness. And through book distribution, through prasadam distribution, through Harinam Sankirtan, through preaching programs for various classes of people. That is actually the spiritual expansion. Why? Because all those people you are bringing to Krishna's lotus feet, you are actually helping them pave way for going back to Godhead. So they are winding up material world and you are opening doors for the spiritual world. That expansion is wanted. Not this type of material expansion where one man and woman, they had 8 children, and then 8 children, they produce 16 children, and they say, we are making material expansion and everybody is doing business, everybody is making money, everybody is enjoying life and dying, not knowing where are they going. Then we are increasing the material bodies. That means we are asking souls, you come here and take material bodies. This is material expansion. So instead of, therefore purpose is to cut off the tie of material attachment, means to broaden the field of spiritual activities. Kunti Maharani says. So that is the real expansion wanted. Prabhupada expanded 108 temples he started. Now there are 1,000 ISKCON temples now. In Prabhupada's time he made 10,000 disciples he made. Now there are 3 million people in this planet who are devotees. And see that it's a spiritual expansion program. So Narada Muni has come here. Narada Muni is also similar. Haryashva, Savalashvas and all he delivered. So Narada actually is Narada. He gifts Narayana to everybody. That is Narada. So Prabhupada wants us to follow that spiritual line and expand the number of devotees rather than be stuck on a material platform like Prachina Parishad was. Therefore Narada Muni compassionately is approaching him, teaching him through the story of Puranjan, enlightening him, and eventually he is going to develop detachment from matter, attachment to Krishna, as you see in the further verses. Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhakta Vrinda ki, Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki.